Good evening, everybody. Yes, I have decided to come back. I had actually thought of not doing that, and I had been researching other hobbies, and in the process, I saw a really good video by someone in computer graphics, and there was a comment on there where the guy laid into him for mispronouncing one word. And the uploader came back to him and, after a very creative and quite vulgar suggestion to the troll, he then suggested that he stop watching his videos and stop giving him grief. And after I read that, I thought, you know what, yeah, no matter where you look on YouTube, no matter how hard people try and how helpful they try to be, there's always some mouthy loser that's just trying to give them grief and ruin their day. And so I decided to stop taking it personally and, give it a shot again. And as some of you may have noticed, I didn't do a smooth cut today. I let you see me limping because, I'm waiting for an operation and it hurts. So I wasn't really in the mood either, for someone who had earlier said that I always sound annoyed. You misunderstood that for, it's pain. But anyways, moving on. Tonight, this is a non-foodie recipe, which was another thing, while we're clearing the air here. I'm here to teach normal people that can't cook how to cook, okay? So I don't want to get grief from foodies that I'm not using, the exact technique and blah, 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 or the correct seasonings or whatever, And seriously, the other ones that are going like, I don't have any of the ingredients, but I really want to make it, so what else can I use? Really, and my focus is on fresh food, so don't ask me how long you can keep it for, just make it and eat it, okay? But, getting back to tonight's recipe, after a good vent there, there are people that don't like pasta al dente in the restaurant, They get forced to eat it when they get dragged out, but they have a secret passion for the stuff out of the can or even out of that little, cardboard box. So I did this recipe up for a friend who does like that stuff, and I have managed to recreate it. So if you cook it just like this, you'll be very happy with the result if you do enjoy canned pasta. And it's so simple. That's the thing I love about this. You need 1 pound of ground beef. You need half a pound of dried pasta. I got fusilli tonight. It works just as well with penne. And I'm only going to use half. This is a 1 pound pack, so I'm going to eyeball half a pound. And a can of tomato sauce and a can of tomato paste. And another good thing about this recipe is it's good for people that are new to cooking because you can prepare it in steps. You can cook the pasta first and just let it sit. You can cook the meat first. This is also good if this is for a delayed dinner when you don't know when the other people are getting home and you want to have it kind of ready to go, because the last step you can get it ready in 12-15 minutes depending on you. Okay, so let's get going. First thing is get a big pot of water boiling. And it'll boil faster if you cover it with the lid. Some people say salt it. I try to keep salt out of my cooking. It'll come to a boil anyways. Next thing is start a frying pan on medium. Now if you're using extra lean ground beef, put a bit of oil in the bottom. I think mine is. It's been in the freezer, so I'm not sure. And this still comes out good even if you defrost frozen beef. So I just put a bit in there for luck. Put the beef in. And if you're noticing it's slightly brown on the top, it's because I did defrost it in the microwave. So I'll just break that up. Now, how much you break it up, again, is personal preference. That's what cooking is, actually, is how you like it, not how somebody tells you you have to make it. So if you want big chunks, don't break this up too much. If you do want it all broken up, you can wait till it's cooked a bit and then go at it again. So let that sit for a few while I did a couple of chores upstairs. So just chop that up with the spatula or the tongs or whatever you got. I think I'm going to leave that chunky, fairly chunky. Then I'm just going to cook that till the water comes off and it crisps up a bit. Once your water comes to a boil, check your pack of pasta. This is very international. It's got like about 8 languages on the back. Somewhere on the pack, and every kind is different, you will find the cooking time. This one says 11 minutes. So what you're going to do is set your timer for 10 minutes. If it cooks for 8 minutes, then set your timer for 7 and so on. What you want to do is, because you're cooking this twice, is always undercook it a bit. And I'm not going to measure this. I'm just going to kind of grab it by the middle after I cut the top off and just kind of pinch it around the middle of the package. And if you do it carefully, you will pour it in half a pack. And if you're not sure, well, a little bit more, a little bit less is not going to hurt anything. Just give that a stir with a strainer, because you do not want it to stick all in a clump on the bottom. And if you're not used to cooking pasta at all, do not put the lid back on. If you put the lid back on, it will boil over, guaranteed. And I just cleaned my stove today for my comeback. The beef is looking and sounding cooked. All the water's off the bottom and it's making nice sizzling sounds and getting brown in a couple of spots. And we'll turn the stove lights on so you can see. Let's zoom in a bit. There's barely any grease in the bottom. And the pasta's not cooked yet, so you are quite safe to just simply turn the pan off. You can just leave it sit right there. It won't go bad or nothing, provided, you're cooking this in a reasonable amount of time. Let's say an hour or so. If it's going to be 3 or 4 hours, by all means, take it off the heat and put it in a bowl and stick it in the fridge in the meantime. The alarm's gone off, which means it's time to get the pasta out. And just turn off the heat and leave it there. And get yourself some kind of strainer and strain it well into a bowl. You may have noticed I've got nice new different kind of bowls now. Smaller. And if you're wondering why you're not going to just throw the water out, that's the secret ingredient in this recipe. Is a can full of pasta water. But we'll get to that in a bit. So that's most of them. Makes a nice big bowl of pasta like that. It will get larger after cooking. At this point, if you're not ready to make it yet, just let the pasta cool off on the counter. It doesn't matter if the pasta water is hot or cold, and the beef is just doing fine over there. It's about a half an hour later, and the pan has gone cold, no problem. That was the point of this, to show you that you could do it later. So I'm going to start that up again, and leave it on medium while I get the cans opened. You can stir it up a bit. Put in the tomato sauce and the tomato paste. And you stir that up a bit, and you'll notice not only is it thick, it's too thick. That's where the pasta water comes in. So just get your can of tomato sauce, the empty one, and just dunk it in here and get about that much, whatever you can out of it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to be throwing out that water after anyways. And just pour that in here. And then stir that gently. To get that all mixed up and make sure that the tomato paste gets stirred in. Doesn't matter if you miss a couple of chunks. And you can already start to see it get that kind of glossy canned sauce look. That is thickening action of the pasta water. And speaking of pasta, just get your cooled down pasta and stir that in. Some of it might stick together because it cooled off. And just break that up with the tongs. Get it all mixed in with the sauce. Now if that's looking a little too dry, you can add a bit more pasta water, but don't put too much or else it'll turn to soup. Okay. Just that bit of a can that you were missing the first time. You'll notice that just that little bit more thins it out very quickly. And you can see it's starting to steam already, which is good. It didn't get that cold. So what you're going to do now is get a lid for this. And just leave this simmer over medium heat to cook for another 12 or 13 minutes. I found out by experimenting that 13 minutes works out just well. My timer just went off, so let's check on it. Yep. Turn that off right away. As you can see, the pasta has gotten considerably larger and softer, which is similar to the canned stuff and those box recipes. So I'll just pop some of that in a bowl so you can get a better look at it. Now, obviously this makes a lot. You can fridge it, and it does reheat well in the microwave after. I did bring some of this to work for lunch the next day, and it was quite nice. Now, I just did this plain. Of course, you can put any kind of seasonings you like. Some people just use like a bit of basil and oregano. You can put some chili flakes in that. That would be good. And there's all kinds of other flavors that are available out there. You can use your imagination. So that's how I make a beef and pasta skillet dinner. Thank you for watching, and I do hope, despite the rant, that I'll see you again. Thanks. Bye-bye.